G. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going on track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his.
What is up? It is Wednesday, our absolute favorite day of the week. We wear pink on Wednesdays, of course, but we also talk board TV. And we've got another absolute banger of a special guest from the Zharta finance team. Diogo, how are you this fine Wednesday evening, good sir?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me. I mean, I guess here it's a bit later than there because I'm based in Portugal, so we are a few hours ahead.
Okay.
But feeling fantastic. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. We're super excited. We dove into a little bit of Zharta. I guess it's been probably a month or so, and we just really love what you guys are building and making, giving the availability to obviously rent, but also if you are the rentee or the renter, both of those being a prospect within Legends of the Mara. And I'm sure so much more that's, in coming down the pike here and shortly, hopefully with Other Side. I'm really looking forward to what you guys have cooking. So again, thank you for being here. And then of course, one of the Brothers Grimm is available this fine evening. We talked to Bryce. We told him we might be doing the Death Nut Challenge Part 2. And he said he was out for the evening, but he'll be back next Wednesday. Mr. Will.
Oh, is that what scared him off?
Yeah, he said, I'm out of here.
He's like, Death Nut, I'm sick. See you later.
I'm sick. I remember that last time, and we had to leave the stream early. But Will, how are you? Obviously, it's things are getting a little wild and crazy in crypto land and friggin' monkey JPEG land, all of it. How is your sentiment? How has your last week been?
Dude, last week, well, I mean, it's been a roller coaster trying to get back in the swing of things after the holidays. Definitely took some time off, touched some grass, and then trying to catch back up. But I mean, the one thing that amazes me, right, is that people are always active.
Yes, literally. We stay active.
I came back and I just keep scrolling and I thought, oh, maybe everyone's just logged off for Christmas. Nope. People are active. Logged off for New Year's. Nope. Everybody's still just kicking away. I mean, I was somewhat active because, I had to keep managing the Koda fleet. But
yes.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, that was about as minimum input as I had. I was logging in, re-upping some boosts once a day and then logging off.
Yeah. That's very minimal for Mr. Will. I feel like you're the guy that's got the spreadsheet out, got the calculation, the million timers ready to rock. So you really did actually touch some grass, take a step back a little bit. And I guess, sometimes that perspective is good. Obviously, we also, did a little bit less from an information standpoint here at Board Media Group as well, just because naturally it is the holiday season. And naturally, I think it's fair to take some time away. So any new perspective or things that just made you maybe more convinced in your thesis of anything?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't have some
epiphany,
great vision while I was away, other than, just keeping the course that we've kind of been talking about this entire time. It's just sit back, let Yuga cook. They clearly have a list of things that they're working on.
Yeah.
So it's we could either sit here and pick it all apart and demand it right now, or we could just let them roll it out when it's ready. And, there's, I don't know. Yeah. We can get into that in a little bit. I mean, it gets deep pretty quick.
It does get deep pretty quick. And so obviously with the holiday season there with Zharta Finance, man, Diogo, how has your new year started? I know you guys have so many things that you're working on and tweaking and making sure that people are enjoying their experience. I saw you guys had another, free week of Koda renting giveaway on the page. So what is your sentiment? What is that builder mind been here in the year 2024?
I mean, well, going back to the holidays, usually for me personally, like we had a lot of people that took some time off, and I myself, like my velocity decreased a bit, but I actually quite enjoy working more or less through the holidays because there's less people working, less meetings, less confusion, all around, and it gives you time to think also, which is good. And the sentiment, I mean, for me, it's beginning of 2024. Like Will said, okay, we have to let Yuga cook. Let's see what they do. There's a lot of things ahead, but for me personally, the sentiment is I'm quite bullish. I've always been bullish on the other side, so that's why we are building this at
Yeah.
Zharta. So completely like looking ahead and see, okay, how can we make the best of what Yuga is doing, what Yuga may do, because a lot of things we are not clear on the details, right? And
Sure.
how can we like do the best we can with the information that we have.
No, I think that's great and that's fair. And you guys are continuing to build what you can. Obviously, as more clarity comes to the forefront from Yuga Labs, that'll make your job and everybody's job a little bit easier because we're speculating on, I mean, every bit of grass, I think, within other deeds. We're trying to pick apart and look at different things and kind of guess at this point, which, can be fun for a little bit of time. But I'll be honest, I think we're all very much ready for a little bit more information on where this is headed, just because we're excited. Like for me,
Definitely.
it's definitely focused on, and I think you just said it was like I'm very bullish on the potential of Other Side and what that can be, and the potential of even Legends of the Marb, even before these big Other Side activations, and just getting a little bit more of information drip, if you will, would be super helpful just for us. That I'm gonna be here either way. You know what I mean? Like I'm not waiting for information to floor on my stuff unless it's just it would have to be something just completely absurd and off the wall for me to do that. I'm here to really build an experience and exciting and hopefully entertaining Legends of the Mara, Other Side, and whatever else they have cooking. So I think a little bit of information here, please, soon would be great, just so that we can make some more calls on maybe what we want to purchase, what we want to maybe switch out, if we want to have a thesis in what we're going to do here on the Other Side, hopefully semi soon. And when I say semi soon, it could be the end of the year. I'm not really sure, but we did get a little bit of an update, which we'll get into here in a second. But without further ado, I do want to jump into, obviously we're talking Zharta finance today, because what you guys have done, I think, has just been a really groundbreaking, and the potential here is pretty massive. And so I'm just going to throw it right back to you, Diego, and you can just kind of tell us, what was the vision here? When did you all start this process? And you don't have to give any alpha away. That's not it at all. But just kind of like your team's passion and ideas behind just this platform that really does give some opportunities to some people that maybe have a really large bag and want to do more, or maybe even a small bag and they want to make a little bit of money.
Yeah. So I mean, really quick in the beginning of Zharta. So Zharta didn't start with the renting stuff for Other Side. Zharta started with NFT backed lending. So people that would come in, have NFTs, put them as collateral, and get ETH or USDC. That's how Zharta started. And from the beginning, I was already like a huge Yuga fan. Exactly like what you're showing. That's the lending part. And we were all thinking, okay, what can we build around this with our expertise that makes sense, right? Because sometimes like you can build stuff that adds like no value, just building stuff for the sake of building, right? And how can we do something that adds value? And I'll be honest, like the first thing that came to mind was something around ape staking. That was the first thing that we got, but again, to be honest, we like missed the train there, and then other teams started working on it. They have great products for that particular use case, and we said, okay, maybe we shouldn't go there right now. And as soon as we got some information about Legends of the Mara, for the Forge, it was the same thing. I mean, there's not much that we can not much value that we can have right now for this iteration of the Forge of Evolution 1. And as soon as we got some information about Legends of the Mara, we said, okay, this is it. This is enough for us to take a decision on, okay, we can do stuff here, and that's how it started, because we already wanted to do something around this. And I'll be honest, when we were building this, I said, okay, I need more coders to play. So
Right.
I was the first user for this because I really needed a couple more coders. So but that's how it started. Yeah.
I know that Will is obviously he's our resident Coda maxi. So I'm sure that, when this came about, obviously Will has his own little army. But Will, can you talk a little bit about, what you had seen in Legends of the Mara and some of the gameplay and some of your thought process and what you noticed with the power of Codas and how, the ability to rent them to add to your fleet could be beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a matter of time until we had this kind of capability built out. And I mean, kudos to you guys for hopping on it and really, paving the way to get this started, because I feel like this could be a really large and important tool moving forward, not only for Kodas, it could be for a whole number of different things, but maybe you want to borrow a shovel or something. You got a Koda shovel or a Koda pickaxe or whatever. I mean, you can start renting out items, start renting other, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But renting Kodas makes a ton of sense, especially in Legends of the Mara, because, people are fighting the Shattered and they have very limited amount of time to defeat and get those master chests or the intermediate chests, the novice chests. And so if some people might be sitting there with a common Mara on a tier 4 deed and they're like, I'm so close, but they're just not going to get the kill. And it's you might as well just turn to, renting. And we already see the collaboration aspect come together with the different guilds. And so people are able to pull assets together, but then you need the ability to do that in a way that, hey, let me pay you to borrow it for a set amount of time, right? I mean, just straight up renting. And so it's interesting to watch the market unfold for renting Kodas, because there's different aspects to Kodas that you might be looking for. You might be targeting a specific ability, and then
Or weapon.
it might have a premium, or maybe you going for a mega Koda. I know there was definitely some discussion about people were looking to line up rentals for mega Kodas in season 2, and then the meta totally changed. It was no longer a who could race to the fastest time for a particular a single deed. It became who can do the most damage. And so I know a few people who were like, okay, well, I mean, it doesn't make sense anymore to rent a mega Koda like I had originally intended, because I don't need to do as much damage as fast as possible. I need to do as much damage overall across the leaderboard. So, that's the one thing that kind of excites me about LOTM, is that it can evolve, it can change, it can push and drive demand towards different deeds at different times and different game pieces at different times as well. So, I mean, is it the last time that we see a really high demand like in last season for mega Kodas? I don't think so. I think we could totally cycle back through, have another season where maybe we are going for fastest time again. And I think, yeah, I mean, just the ability to have this option to rent is definitely a great resource for anyone who's looking to expand their capabilities, but without, chucking down some big money to get these Kodas.
Breaking the bank. I think it gives those opportunities for those smaller players for sure. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that there are even some people that try renting a Coda just to see how it feels, or what it is like to use a Coda. Maybe it's people that are on the fence of actually buying one, for example, and see, okay, let's see how it goes. And if I like it, maybe I'll buy it. I'll buy one, right? For the sake of the game, because they didn't have it before. And I completely agree with what you said, Will, regarding from season to season, things can change, things can adapt, because I mean, once the game gets harder or gets more complex, it's also harder for Yuga to actually create a leaderboard that makes sense, like that incentivizes exactly the behaviors that they want. So they need to adapt. Like they are experimenting and see in like, because gamification, I mean, you can build it the way you want, and then people will game it or will use it differently, like the dynamics you can see. So I also agree that mega Kodas will not be. We have not seen the end of them, the last of them. So for sure,
They will
so,
rise
yeah.
again, my friends. They will rise again. That's so well put, though. Is this is still so new, and not that Yuga doesn't have a plan, but they do have to be mobile and flexible, and the ability to change course if necessary, realizing how the gameplay and interaction with the game is going with the user base. I think we are kind of guinea pigs in a way. And to be fair, I've had a pretty damn fun time playing the game. Like, I know it's more kind of like a gamified staking at this point, but I was talking to Will and Bryce a couple weeks ago where I actually started to pay a little bit more attention. Not that I wasn't doing it before, but I was actually like, oh, you know what? If I actually, remember in 7 hours, even just to come in and click this thing for 1 second, and then you get it boosted all the way up, and it's like, holy shit, that actually does do a lot of damage, and it doesn't take that much time. And I think it is kind of a catch-22 because there's a large quantity of people that this pace is good for them, at least for now. What we're doing right now in collecting, sediment and collecting these ship parts, and maybe if you get lucky, you get one of those partner pieces. It's great because it doesn't take a ton of time. You don't have to grind, sun up to sundown. But you're still gathering elements. Now, again, we're not really sure where that's headed necessarily, but I think what we'll see here, I would say within maybe quarter 2 or 3, is a little bit more activity. You can choose to grind a little bit more. And then you can also do it where maybe I can set it and forget it. And I think that's actually good because Yuga's, base of people playing is still so small. At the end of the day, it is a very small pool of people that are playing at least Legends of the Mar right now. And so understanding what we like and enjoy and then iterating on that, and what we hate too, by the way, when we hate shit, throw that thing in the dumpster. Like, again, the Forge, that was a beatdown, a grind. And they said it, right? They straight up came out and said, we realized this was not the experience you're looking for. And so that doesn't mean we just, take them for their word. But I do believe we are kind of guinea pigs. But along the way, we're going to get to experience some really dope shit. And when this becomes something so much more than just a gamified staking, we're going to be right there in the front line, like ready to freaking go into other side and go, explore freaking Clubhouse and all these other things. So that to me is pretty freaking exciting. I do have a question for you from our good friend, Anthony. Tool renting, please. I need more tools. I mean, we're looking ahead to tools. We're going to other side already. Give me the shovels. Give me the axes. What are your thoughts on, obviously, the additions of renting all types of things within the other side?
I mean, I can already give a glimpse of what we are thinking of right now for this. So we started out with the renting, but the goal is to kind of see the whole ecosystem of other sides and all the steps that we are taking to get there. The Forge, I believe the Forge was one of them. Legends of the Mar is another, and we'll get these set of activations until we actually reach other side. And now, and the goal for this is to create a hub for all these different experiences, and to put there whatever is useful for people that are inside this ecosystem. So if we started with the renting because it made sense for Legends of the Mar, from in our perspective, it was a new market, so we had to. This is a test right now. See, okay, is there a demand? Do people need this? Do people want this? What exactly do people want from such a product, right? But then we also have. But the goal here is, and one thing that a lot of people have asked several times is, why do I have to deposit my basically, especially Kodas, because with Mars people are less scared. Why do I have to deposit the code to make this work, right? Because people are scared, and I completely understand. Well, people have to deposit, otherwise the system will not be trustless, and the product would be a mess. If we start discussing what the product would look like, it would be very custodial. The flows would be completely messed up. It would be very complex to actually make it work. But so the goal is, okay, once we figure out that part and we can communicate, okay, this is okay to do, and all that security stuff, we want to build something that lets or makes people feel that I don't need to take out my assets, other side assets from here, because I can do whatever I want with them inside other side, inside of all these experiences. Even if I want to sell them, I can do them inside the platform. So this is like a hub for everything related to the ecosystem. And of course, we already have the landing part done, so we can just plug it into the product in a way that it makes sense, and we can go from there to other stuff. And in the end, I mean, I see like even if we only think about Legends of the Mar for now, I believe it will be cool if we, of course, once we have, for example, friends come in, we all, I think, have a thesis of exactly what our friends going to do, or exactly how, but we can add friends. It would be cool if we could use tools to farm resources right away instead of only fragments. So let's do something that's focused on that. And even in the future, like once we have actually other side and people are building stuff in their lands, and if they want to rent out the space, the land to an experience and activation, whatever, let's do that as well, right? Everything is possible from this point on, as soon as it's ready, basically.
Yeah, as soon as we get that information, baby, we're looking at you, Yuga Labs. No, I think that's dope, and a lot of people have talked about how awesome it would be to be able to rent your land, rent your space for a weekend. Maybe it's, maybe it's an artist, a larger artist, a medium artist. It's like, hey, I want to put on this concert on the other side, and you got a cool plot. I like whatever it looks like. Maybe it's towards the center. And shoot, if you could rent that out, it's pretty freaking cool. Like, again, the possibilities are endless. And we love that you guys are just obviously iterating. We give flowers to all of you that are creating these awesome tools, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that are really going to help all of us that are wanting to play around and build stupid shit in the other side and run around and figure out what a freaking Koda axe does at the end of the day. And so again, flowers to you and your team for all the things you've already, been doing. Love it.
Thanks.
Love it. Will, did you have any more questions about Zharta specifically? Otherwise, I did want to, have Diogo, if he wants to stay around and go through some of the Yuga Labs information over the last, week or so.
The only other thing I really kind of wanted to just touch on is the some of the stats that the platform's been doing. Just quickly run through some of these because I thought they were pretty interesting. They got a nice Dune dashboard. Main thing I just wanted to point out is there is currently 38 Kodas that are rented right now. So active rentals, 38, and looking at about an average rental price of 0.658 per hour. I mean, when you're talking 24 hours, what is that? So 0.658, about $1-ish a day in ApeCoin.
Yep.
So you're looking at like $24 a day to potentially, push your deed over the finish line a little bit faster and secure like a legendary ship part, which who knows? Some people like myself maybe think they're going for like 0.1-ish ETH out the gate, maybe more, maybe less, kind of just depends. And then also it depends on the season 1, season 2. There's going to be some varying supply, I can't speak tonight. There's different supplies between season 1 ship parts, legendary ship parts, and season 2 legendary ship parts. There's less in season 2, so who knows? We will see how it goes. But yeah, definitely encourage some people to go in, check it out. They got cool stats on this Dune dashboard.
And we know.
And let me just say that regarding the price. I mean, the price is quite different between coders and weapon coders. That's what's currently in the platform. We haven't differentiated them yet here, but there's like a big difference. Like you can rent like a basic coder for like 0.4, or even sometimes a bit less, but there's not many below that price. 0.4, 0.45, and weapon coders you already are looking at 0.75, 0.80, and these like last week. It was the first time that I actually used the weapon coder in Legends of the Mar. I rented it out to try it out for like 5 days, and there's a huge difference.
Yeah,
like you really. Of course, I chose like specific abilities. a specific weapon type, but it definitely has a difference. And of course the price is, I mean, we don't know. This is like like an open market. It's a marketplace, peer to peer, whatever people decide on.
Right.
But there's a difference, definitely. So yeah.
Yeah, just taking a quick look at the other side wiki, you can see what you're talking about here. 0.46, 0.47s for your basic Kodas, and then weapon Kodas 0.75, 0.8, 0.9.
Yeah.
Kind of steep on the weapon Kodas. The one thing though that is interesting is this guy right here is a venomous blade. So it's one of the more sought after weapons. Can definitely, do a little bit of crafting of different teams. I know sometimes picking up like a weapon coda with crit chance can kind of be a little difficult. So nice to see a couple of those on here. And let's see. Yeah, damage buff, speed buff. You can find it all.
You can have whatever you like. Come on to Zharta Finance and pick up your coda today. So we're going to continue to obviously talk about Yuga Labs as a whole. And obviously we love the things that Zharta is doing and will continue to do. But I do want to talk a little bit because there has been some updates, maybe not enough in some people's eyes, and, maybe video footage not as good. But gentlemen, I did want to start off this conversation with just a quick video because I just know how freaking excited Will is for this update. We got the freaking full body avatars coming soon, February. Will has been talking about this day for a long time. Apes coming home. So if we just focus on the fact that, we finally do have this full body avatar. Will, what are your thoughts? I know you're excited. Do you think that, I guess that's when we get them, right? But then what, right? When are we going to be? Yeah, I know Halos are freaking popping out there, baby.
They really are.
What is your initial thought though on just seeing? Obviously, we had seen kind of a little sneak peek with a picture, and obviously the video quality. You can go check the timeline. Everybody and their mother's been talking about it. We all get it. It's definitely not as good as it should have been. But the point of
shot
it,
on like an iPod Nano,
literally, from when I was in high school. But the point of it, really, if we really want to get down to brass tacks, the point of it is that this is exciting. We're going to get to run around, at the swamp in our freaking ape avatars. How are you feeling now, Mr. Will?
I'm excited to see this experience versus the Ape Fest experience.
Right.
Mainly in the fact that if it's, it's not going to be 10,000 apes running around because we are not 10,000 deep, but we could easily see a couple thousand apes running around, which will be significantly more chaotic.
Right.
Is probably the best way to describe that. Then, like when we were doing the other side demo, you're running around and there's like 20 people ish, right?
Yeah.
20-ish laptops at the station. And, you might run into one or two, but just seeing like a swarm of apes, like it'll be kind of fun.
Diogo, what are your thoughts on the avatar? We're not going to even talk about the video, but what are your thoughts on just in general, these projects delivering these full body, whatever it is, not just apes, when we see mutants and we see Kodas run around, all of them. How valuable do you see that in a, again, we're doing a little bit of speculating, surprise, in a potential and future other side?
I definitely see the importance. This is like since the beginning of people playing games online, like people do really value their identity that they create, right? Their image there. So people like I remember playing online games or World of Warcraft, whatever, and I would spend like 1 hour just really customizing my character. So people like if you feel emotionally attached, and I completely understand why, if you feel emotionally attached with your ape, your mutant once they come, or whatever NFT that you can use as a full body 3D character, then it's very, very relevant for you to be able to use it inside other side. I think people will enjoy other side more if they can use these avatars, for sure.
Agreed. That personal touch for sure, because a lot of these are PFPs. Again, not just Apes, but I'm talking other projects too that are,
Yeah.
make this available. If you can run around in an awesome other side experience, that really does. These people are tied to it. They're married to this asset, and that just it takes it another layer deeper. If we're being honest, if you can go there and you're always you're that in your social media account, your LinkedIn, and then you go into this game and this experience, this concert, whatever it is, and you can still be that character, that could be pretty massive, to be honest with you. So I am definitely excited. I'm obviously excited to see what this experience, like you said, what will it look like, right? Like, what's the time frame? What, is there a game, or is it really just run around and explore? I'm assuming there'll be some sort of activity, and what does that entail? Who knows? But at least we do have something to look forward to that's solid, like kind of a time frame of this is when it's going to happen, February. Knowing Yuga, it'll be February like 27th, 28th. They can't
29th.
29th, maybe March 1st. No, but in reality, we're still excited about it, because at the end of the day, it's another experience within Other Side along with this entire community, which is dope. The next thing I did want to talk about briefly, and this was a post, I want to say today has been a really long day for me, so forgive me. I don't remember if this was today or yesterday, but Mr. Daniel Legre had this tweet, and I would love to get some perspective from what you guys think. He says, heading to Vegas, I'm reminded of Elvis's motto, taking care of business. As I said last week, 2024, we'll see so much of what our passionate teams have been cooking in our labs. BG, building great experiences, plus EOC, empowering our communities, equals taking care of business 2024. Will, what is your thought on this? Obviously, we've seen some posts like this from some of the team members where it's like, hey, we're cooking. Hey, we're not going to be disappointed. We got this where it's like, hey, we're empowering communities, which is something obviously we all want to. Like, we want to have a say in how we move forward, but also building those great experiences. What are your thoughts as he travels to Vegas for the Consumer Technology Association, CES? He is speaking. Actually, wait, is that today? Did he speak today? Wednesday, January 10th? Is that today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he actually spoke today. So what is your thought on the post, Will? And then I'll throw it to Diogo, and then I'll pull up his little bio here on CES.
Yeah, I feel like the first part of that, the BGE, building great experiences, is what Yuga does best, right? I mean, it's part of the whole storytelling aspect of everything they do. At least in the beginning, that's like what drove a lot of excitement was the experiences. And I think opening digital doors as well as like physical doors was kind of like the magic to what made a lot of the swamp really tick early on. And so I'll be curious to see how they right the ship from last year and put us on a new course with hopefully some really epic kick-ass experiences.
And obviously, they would agree that 2023 across the industry was very much of a bearish year. People were building and it was a little quieter. But I just got to, again, and we've talked about this before too in the background, Will, is like, even all that's true. They've definitely had some mistakes. But dude, they just hosted fucking Ape Fest in Hong Kong like 2 months ago. And people are acting like they took a shit in a dumpster. And that was what they did in 2023. So when you talk about great experiences from everybody I talked to, you included for sure, Hong Kong was lit. The experiences were great. Obviously, like how they set it up and the music and being able to check out the little, mock-up clubhouse, all of it was awesome. So more of that, of course. We want more, and I think we need more, and they know that. Like, they know that the expectation is higher than it was in 2023 and higher than it was in 2022, and that's naturally the case. But we aren't even 3 years into this thing. And if you really sit back and just marinate for a second and evaluate, they've done a lot of shit in 2.5 years for a business that was started up to pay back their moms. Let's just,
if you really wanted, I've had this thought actually quite a lot recently. Especially like when looking at the current market, just in general, is kind of like, we'll dive into it for a second. I was like talking with Bryce about which project has, good potential to, maybe pick up an NFT or two for, a solid investment. And then you kind of start to look, you're like, oh, well, say NFTs are popping off on that chain that whatever say is it say SEI?
I think so.
Say NFTs are going crazy, Sol NFTs are going crazy, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, though, it's like, how are you going to find the next type of project that's going to pull some kind of crazy freaking run that Apes did? And I mean, realistically, I mean, it would be like trying to have lightning strike in a bottle on a extremely precise coordinate in the middle of the desert. You're just like, get lucky one time. It's definitely how it feels. Because like I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you're throwing just
darts, dude, for real.
Shit at the wall and hoping it sticks, right? I mean, like, I don't know if these teams are over here, they just, they made a NFT collection, or are they like actually building something? Like, I don't know. It's hard to kind of like pick up who's going to actually be legitimate and like, have staying power. Like, I mean, we've obviously got Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, the Moonbirds team, even. I don't even know if I put them on that list really anymore, but like people who came in and like actually like build stuff and like gave it a good solid try. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't know if anybody could do it ever again quite like how Apes did it.
It was definitely like one of those once in a lifetime deals, the way that they took off and the way that they expanded from really nothing to, basically 4 friends to exploding to 4 billion valuation at the rate they did is that will probably not happen again. So, I mean, and that's no shade to anyone. That's just like, it was just completely absurd. When you actually look back and think it's completely crazy absurd. And I agree. I've been looking at projects too of just things that I would like to hold, things that I think, valuable communities, valuable teams, whatever, that I think they're doing cool things. And I think I probably will pick up a couple things, maybe not on the higher end, just trying to figure out where are they headed. At the end of the day, I'm trying to invest in the best teams, the ones that I trust the most, and the most talented teams. That's what I'm focused on, if I'm being honest with you. I've got to be able to trust them. And I know that sounds funny, right? It's like, well, how the hell do you trust these people? Well, usually I'll just see how they've moved in the space for a minute, because the projects I'm looking at, for the most part, have been around a while, right? They've been, and NFTs have been around basically a lifetime, 2 years or something. And so I'm going back and checking, what have they done? What have they delivered? What has their comms been? All these things that we look at with you, I'm looking at the same thing, all these other projects, and I'm saying, what do I want to hold long term? And there are a couple things that I'm currently looking at right now, because I believe that it'll be a great community and a great team to be a part of. And that's exciting. Like, nobody wants it to just be Yuga. We are really Yuga Maxis. We are 100%, like 1,000,000%. We don't want it to just be Yuga Labs. Do we think they're the best team with the most potential? I definitely do. 100% still do to this day. Right now, you can put that on a fucking t-shirt. Okay. But I also want other teams to succeed, because that pushes the space forward. We want that. We want more people here. We want more dope builders like the Zharta team coming in and want to build stuff for other, games with other programs, etc. Like, I think that's dope. If there's more builders, please come on, more content creators, more people like us that want to shoot the shit every Wednesday night about another project. Come on, let's go. Like, that's what we're excited about. And so it is interesting. It was an interesting tweet. And then again, for those that maybe didn't know, here's his little short bio. Obviously, the CEO at Yuga Labs. And this was his session earlier today in Las Vegas. How do blockchain technology and communities enhance gaming? So obviously, no surprise, talking gaming. And I do want to get into that gaming versus community, or maybe how are they tied together. But before that, Diogo, a little bit of backstory. We really didn't get into this. Obviously you're deep in other side, but for NFTs in general, like, how long have you been, exploring NFTs and collecting and being part of communities, etc.?
Well, with NFTs, 2021.
Yeah.
That's when I started.
Yeah.
I actually missed the Bored Ape Mint, because I was, to be honest, a bit hangover, so I fell asleep. I still remember that day.
Yeah.
So I missed the mint. But in NFTs 2021. I'm already in like the crypto space from 2017.
Yeah.
But from like more like the technical stuff, and then DeFi and all that stuff. But NFTs 2021, which is more or less like at the end of the year of 2021. That's when we started Zharta.
Nice.
Like, so yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So again, you've been here a minute, and so I guess I'll throw the question to you too. You know, when you're looking at you know, projects to hold or invest in, et cetera, like what are some of the key factors that you're, you know, interested in?
Well, I actually I think I will completely agree with you exactly all that you said, Phil. I look at exactly all the same things. I still remember, like in the bull run, when the meta for a while was not only for NFTs, but the meta was like if people are not doxxed, right?
Yeah.
It's like there was all that thing around KYC teams and dox teams and so on.
Right.
And I mean, if you think about it, of course, I mean, it doesn't mean that a team that's not anonymous can't build great things. That's not what I'm saying. But if you are looking into joining a community for the long run, like we are all in the Yuga ecosystem and the other side, I mean, then you have to also start seeing the team as a company, right? How can they deliver? Who are they? What are their credentials? And then the community aspect, how do they communicate, and so on and so on. It's very hard to do what Yuga wants to do for other side. I mean, if you think about it, it's like it's a huge endeavor. And if you see like the other side, it will be like a AAA game, bigger than any game that has ever been, like in terms of open world. And technically speaking, like those games take 7 to 10 years usually, or 6 to 10 years to build. Completely focused on the end product. They are not, the companies are not focused on doing like, okay, now let's do Apes Fest every year. Now let's do like a bunch of smaller games, and now they don't worry about all these things. They are completely focused on the end product. And here you have Yuga trying to do something bigger than that, while still catering to our needs, what we want them to do, right? So it's very hard. It's really hard. And if I agree that if you look back, or if you sit back a bit and look at what they did a bunch of mistakes. I'll not say that they didn't, but if you look back, okay, they tried it. Hopefully they are learning from what they are doing. That's the goal, right? But they still did a lot of things. They still put themselves out there, tried it, and hopefully they will understand what didn't work and move forward. But it's very, very hard.
Yeah. And you miss all the shots you don't take at the end of the day.
Exactly.
You could sit around and do nothing and just, you know, have people guess what you're going to maybe try to do. And, you know, maybe you can sustain that for a year, 2 years, but at some point you got to actually take a shot. And that doesn't mean it's always you're not going to make every shot. And obviously we all agree Yuga has not been perfect, but like, if that's our expectation, what the hell are we doing in a new and growing ecosystem of NFTs and Web3? Like, let's just be real. Like, what the hell are you doing here if you think it's just going to be absolutely perfect? Again, can our expectations be raised? 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I think we're all at that point where, and it'll take us right into this next conversation, is the biggest thing that has been on the timeline recently for sure is comms. The comms. What do we want from communication? And so there's a wide perspective, though you don't always see it, because obviously the timeline is always going to be the loudest people with the most time will be on your feed, which is fine. That's no shade. That's just the reality of social media. But you do have people that are, you know, they want much more clear direction. They want maybe a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain, kind of what's coming, etc. And then there's others. I would probably put myself in this other category that is kind of like, to be honest, this has always been what they did. And when the price was going way up, you didn't say shit. Now that the price is going down, now we want more. Now, do I believe with all the things they have coming, I just talked about it, more information on what is Legends of the Mar and what are these resources and, you know, what are we going to do with them at the end of the day? Do I think we need more of that? Absolutely. Game guides, those type of things, like the gaming blog they had going. Do I think they need to get back on that train? 1,000%. Do we need some update on what is other side and what happened or didn't happen with Improbable? 1,000%. Do we need now? We did see a little bit of an update from Magic Eden. For those that didn't see, Magic Eden put out a tweet and said, "Hey, we know that you're waiting and excited about this marketplace. We just need a little bit more time, basically, to cook." So at least that came from Magic Eden. But that was another thing that was like, we need just more information. Doesn't, even if you had to push it back, just tell us. Like, shit, just at least tell us. Don't let us, sit here in the dark. But I'm gonna go to Diogo first, and I'll throw it to Will. What is your thought on comms, and what and just your personal opinion? What are you hoping that they do from a communication standpoint?
Well, let me. I completely agree that comms haven't been great, and I also feel like the video of the first trip that they put out. I mean, that's in the video isn't great, but that's I also feel that as part of comms, they could have done something better,
Sure.
and they missed it. Like it's one thing that we know that Yuga can do is like great videos or trailers. We know that they can do that. They've done it a lot of times. So in a phase where people are always asking for better comms, that was like an opportunity of that they shouldn't miss. But let me also I also agree that we should have like more information about legends of the resources of everything that's going to happen. But I also have to say that regarding the game, the Legends of the Mara, and even Evolution 2, and what they mean to other side. Again, going back to my previous point, when you are building a game that's an open world where people can do a lot of things, making all those things work well together is hard. All those dynamics, they are hard to get right. And if you are doing this stuff in like 2 or 3 months for stuff that's going to be built in 2 years or 3 years, it's really hard to make them work. And it's I mean the team at the executive team at Yuga, they already have experience in this. They already have experience in games, in huge games like World of Warcraft and others, and Fortnite and others. So they already know that this is hard to get right. And if they are, and I'm assuming that every day they are always thinking on, okay, now we have parts, and we'll have ships, and we'll have resources and the tools and so on. How do all the things work together? And that takes time to get together. Like in a normal AAA game that's been in the development for 8 years, like you are 4 years in, and you are still changing dynamics of
Right.
things that you did. So that's really hard, in my opinion. So I think that we have to be a bit patient so that we don't end up like in a scenario where they release like information very fast and then
it's bunk. Yeah.
And then it's bunk, yeah, right. But in the other parts, like the video yesterday.
Yo, hold on, Diogo. I think you speaking this into existence, we just got an updated, remastered video. Here we go, Diogo with the alpha, and all of a sudden, other side tweet drops. Here we go, baby. Much better.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, that's like.
Look at the name. Look at the name of.
Yeah, I know. I know. No, and in the tweet they even said that. So I think you man, come up to Board TV, have Diogo come through, and you will get an other side tweet the minute he asks for it. So no, go ahead and keep talking about that video because obviously they agree. At the end of the day, they agree because they've reposted the same exact tweet, right?
But those are things that those are the types of comms that you shouldn't miss because you are communicating something that people really want. Yeah. Let's go to a new trip, right? Let's do it, and then you don't want to miss that communication. And what they did here, let's see. I didn't see the tweet yet, but if they did it well, if they did it well, I mean it's fantastic because they listened. Maybe they will acknowledge the mistake. I mean, from Gordon, you assume that they did. They'll acknowledge the mistake and then they move forward. And I think the community will value that. I'm sure.
I love this. To celebrate its 2-day anniversary, we're proud to announce Apes Come Home Remastered. That's perfect, to be honest with you, because they
It
obviously
is. It
they're
is.
throwing shade to
It is.
themselves, at themselves for sure. But I'm glad they did this. You know, at the end of the day, I am glad that they did this and had a little poked a little fun at themselves of putting out a video that was absolutely not up to standard. So,
Dude, it's
they,
the final too. I mean, that's how you know it's legit,
yeah,
right?
literally,
I mean, the little
it says we
we
fucked up
fucked
our
up.
bad and final.
Final.
Gordon
The
says
more
we
finals you have, the
yeah.
more legit it gets, right? So
Yeah, that's right. So I love that. And again, at the end of the day, everything you were saying, you were cooking, it takes time. Valuable things take time. And that doesn't mean that they can be completely radio silent. And that doesn't
no,
mean they
yeah.
can't, because to be honest, from the start, they've always said they want to build this with us and have us experience it. Right. And so, Will, I'm going to throw it to you. What are your thoughts? Obviously, we have the updated video, but what is your thoughts on comms as a whole as we move forward? What are you hoping from, Yuga Labs and Board Ape?
So I feel like it's almost a similar scenario as what we experienced leading right into the start of heavy metal. And everybody was like freaking out. They were like, the comms are trash, blah, 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 blah. And then they like put out the MDVMM website, and you could just go on there and you could see like a whole timeline of things. And like, it basically just made everybody who was like really, bitching and complaining that there wasn't anything exciting coming to just like have like a peak. It was essentially another roadmap, right? Like instead of like the roadmap 2.0, which is very vague at this point, and misses all of these little details, the ins and outs. Just to have that kind of like, here's your new roadmap for the next stretch of things that we are going to release. I definitely feel like that was a huge positive and turned sentiment around. I would love to see something like that for Legends of the Mara. I know we have star map stuff. It just feels a little scattered currently. If we could kind of like get that buttoned up. Of course, though, it's in a beta. So like, I don't know. I am very much like on the just sit back, let them work their way through stuff type of vibe. Whereas like everyone else is, maybe not everyone else, but a lot of people have the opinion of like, yo, we're going to like freaking grab the pitchforks and like start hurling them across the swamp like tonight at midnight. So I don't know. I think Yuga is going to take all of the feedback. They're going to, wrap it all up, and they're gonna get it going in the right direction. I mean, I don't want to be hit with a fire hose of information unless if we're like dropping like ApeCoin 2.0, because that fire hose of information all at one time when it was like, yo, boom, boom, boom. But this wasn't even from Yuga, right? So that kind of stuff is fun. Like if they had like just a bunch of stuff ready to just like fire hose something for heavy metal, like go for it. Like that would be epic. But like, do we need the day-to-day play of like, we tried this and it pushed some other thing back 16 months and what, you give too much information, and then it's like, it kills a lot of the spirits in general, when in reality that they could potentially pivot to something even better in a shorter amount of time than the old concept that they may have been working with. So I don't know. I don't want to get like hopes up. So at that point too, I don't really want like the day-to-day feedback. I feel like something that gets like very tricky is like, especially like from a trading perspective. It happens all the time. I mean, you can find it in any project. You essentially, you dive into a project. The project is over communicating on their progress. A lot of the times they're very like optimistic on like their timelines. And they're like, yo, we are going to crank this out. And, I'll give an example. Memeland said, oh, it's going to be a busy June back in the summer. In reality, everybody reads into busy June as in like, this is when the token's being dropped, and this is when all of these things are coming out, and then expectation after expectation gets built up. And then when you don't deliver on these, unpromised actual, made up expectations that the community holds, it just becomes very dangerous, right? So then it's like, I mean, I don't know. In that sense, I don't want Yuga to be under fire in another aspect like that. Personally, I'd rather them be silent right now, figure their shit out, get us on a really solid like battle plan and like or battle rhythm and like freaking hammer out some stuff.
Yeah.
Epic for Legends of Tomorrow, or other side in general, heavy metals, you know,
All of
made
it.
by Apes,
Yeah.
etc. Like, show us what you got.
I agree. And with that, I have two things to put a bow on it. Number one, man, I would love this shit. You know, like the Hard Knocks, if you're a football fan, as an American football, and it has like this behind the scenes sort of where you see them like practicing and the interactions of the team. And how cool would that be to have like a little like mini series on like Yuga Labs? Not that I'm not saying you're getting alpha, but just like seeing some interactions and like them setting up for Ape Fest and a little like some video clips, and them maybe after they announce something with whoever it is, right? Maybe there's an artist that they end up announcing that they're going to have a concert on the other side. But then after that happens, you get to see like some of the conversations they had leading up. And I think that could be super fun and relatively easy because it's like just put up a camera, like get some of this B-roll footage. And then they've, like you guys are both saying, it's like they have the team to do some of this video stuff. It's always been like really good. So like to me, that could be just fun. But man, I'm gonna double tap on Will's. Can we go back to the little like roadmap with the cool graphics, and like that felt like so much lore was being built simply from some graphics on a website that could turn over and all. Like, I remember shaking the fucking box to like see what was in Gary the dog, like all of that. Like, man, those are the little details that I think we all would love to see a little bit of. And it doesn't mean that you have to and unveil yourself completely, but a little bit of fun, a little bit of mystery, if you will. And some of that would be, I think, pretty dope in 2024. But I want to throw it to Diogo last to see if he wants to add anything to add, sir, on Zharta, anything to add on just what you're looking forward to here in 2024.
Well, regarding Zharta, I mean, I think I've said it all. I don't want to get into like too very kind of like salesy kind of discourse.
Rent your Kodas now.
No, but what I would like to say is, please, if anyone has any feedback that you'd like to give, we're always open. I'm always open. Shoot a DM, and I'm happy to listen. And regarding 2024, I mean, I completely agree with Will. I don't want, like, the day-to-day, I don't care about that. I mean, it's just another thing for you to get under fire. So I don't like it, but I haven't thought about it, but I really like your idea of behind the scenes, what they are doing, because that's actually like, if you see, I'm of course assuming, and I'm sure that the Yuga team, they are working really hard.
Yeah.
And especially when they are working towards like a specific event, Ape Fest, or preparing this third trip. It's like, okay, give us more, like show us what it's like to build this. Show everyone how hard it is to actually put this out.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to actually put out, like in the past, like a couple of hours in of the trip, or a day, or days of the Ape Fest. Like, show us. I really like that idea. Makes a lot of sense.
I'm telling you, Yuga, director of vibes, just waiting. I'm here. I'm ready. I'm vibing, and I'm feeling frisky and creative today. Of course, we got to give a big shout out to Mr. Diogo for coming through and talking. Obviously, just hanging with us, talking Yuga Labs. We love to have guests on the show, and of course, continue building Zharta Finance. If you haven't followed them yet, their ad is ZHARTA Finance on X account. And if you want to follow our good friend Diogo, his ad is at 0x Pyrex, Pirex. And so you can hit him with all the DMs, give him all the feedback of things that you're looking for, maybe looking ahead to. So, Will, I'm going to throw it to you, and then we're going to get out of here for the evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
Yep.
Let's just pack some patience.
Yep.
let the rest of the year unfold. We already had, I mean, we didn't even talk about it, but happy freaking BTC ETF
for real.
approval day. Like, come on. Come on. I mean, what better way to, like, you know, get the vibes rolling? So I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to watch that tomorrow, see how the ETFs, if they start filling up or not, or, you know, we'll see. That could determine the fate of the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection. BAYC ETF pending,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
massive bullish inflows into BTC first. But yeah, I mean, anyways, I don't know. I'm just excited. If we get some good solid bullish markets, then you know, I mean, I don't know. Floor price on Apes will kind of be a thing of the past. Although I did just see another dump 4 minutes ago. The floor's getting beat up. A lot of that though is like lending. There was like a big lender who pulled a lot of ETH, and people are getting called. So it's kind of like a flashback to the same days when people were trying to market make Apes lower so that they could liquidate people on bend down. Right. So same, but different, you know,
Fun times, really
second
fun.
verse or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things, like, if you're in the club, you're probably not worried about like the price, right? This very set. I mean, people are, but like for the most part, you're probably going to ride it out for a while. You know, it's not going to be like I don't know, this is make or break. I'm leaving in the next 15 minutes or not. You know, like a lot of people, like I feel like people have picked up their Apes. And if they're in the club, they're riding with the club, and it's here for a long time. And yeah, I don't know. So
agreed, dude.
Anyways,
Well
said. We get some good vibes going.
I think they're already started. 2024 is off to a bang. Freaking rip up the BTC. Let's go to fucking $1 million for one BTC. 100,000 per ape. Let's be millionaires together. Again, just want to say a massive third and fourth shout out to Diogo for coming through. You are welcome anytime, my friend, to come through and talk on Bored TV. And for everybody in the audience, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for the comments. We appreciate you. If you haven't yet, make sure you follow all of us. Make sure you follow Bored Media Group. DM us if you want to come through and talk about something dope that you're building. We are here to spotlight you. That is why we do this. This is why we come on every single Wednesday evening to talk about Yuga Labs. We've been doing it for like, I don't even know, 17 months, and we are just getting started. We're excited to build in 2024. And with that, I want to remind you to stay bored.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I hit record, it drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, Finnish friends on my face, looking like I'm from the D. D's no Cartier.